The wind came down from the red bluffs with a warning in it. The kind old ranchers learned to read the way sailors read clouds, and Ellie Calder felt it before he saw her, standing at the edge of the dry arroyo where the town's fences ended and the land turned wrong, turned quiet, turned forbidden, because everyone in Ash Hollow knew you didn't cross that line, not since the treaty, not since buried bones, not since the water dispute that left men dead and truth buried with them. And yet there she was, Miriam Greyfeather, wrapped in a weathered shawl, eyes fixed on the cracked earth, as if it were a map only she could read. And when Ellie rode closer she didn't look up right away. She just said it softly, not accusing, not afraid, "That is forbidden." And the words settled heavier than gunfire, because Ellie understood exactly what she meant. Understood that the land beyond the arroyo held the old spring the town had stolen years ago, the spring that kept Ash Hollow green while her people rationed every drop, the spring the council called cursed so no one would ask questions, and Ellie had grown up hearing the lie until it sounded like truth, had benefited from it without meaning to, had grazed his cattle on stolen water while telling himself he was just doing what everyone did. And now Miriam finally looked at him, her gaze steady, tired of begging, tired of explaining, and told him that the spring was failing, that children were walking miles for water, that the elders were done whispering, and Ellie felt something crack open in his chest because he knew what she was asking without her asking it, knew she was standing here because he was the only rancher who hadn't signed the new fence order, the only one who still listened. And he dismounted slowly, the way you do when you don't want to spook a horse or a truth, and he said he understood, and that was when she finally sounded afraid, because understanding was more dangerous than ignorance, because if he helped her, the town would turn on him, and if he didn't, the spring would die, and Ash Hollow would keep calling it fate. And as they stood there, the church bell rang noon, a reminder that rules existed to be obeyed, not questioned, and Ellie saw the town laid out in his mind, the councilmen who smiled while hoarding water, the preacher who preached peace while blessing fences, the neighbors who would cross the street if he crossed that line, and Miriam told him the council planned to dynamite the old stone channel that night to finish the light forever, and Ellie felt the wind again, harder now, and he knew that whatever he did next would not stay quiet, would not stay small, would shake Ash Hollow to its bones. And if you want to know what happens when a single choice turns a whole town on its head, subscribe now, because this is where the story truly begins. They crossed the arroyo at dusk, not sneaking, not hiding, because there comes a point when secrecy is just another lie. And Ellie led the way with a lantern while Miriam walked beside him, head high, as if every step reclaimed something stolen, and when they reached the spring the sound of it stopped Ellie cold, a thin, wounded trickle where there should have been song, stone dust piled where men had already started the work, and anger steadied him the way fear never had, and he did the forbidden thing not with a gun but with a shovel, breaking the council's seal, opening the old channel, letting the water remember where it belonged. And when the first clear rush cut through the dust, it felt like the land itself exhaled. But the town came running all the same, lanterns bobbing, shouts rising, the councilmen red, faced and righteous, accusing Ellie of theft, of treason, of breaking sacred law. And Ellie stood in the stream and told them the law had been broken long before he ever set foot there, told them the spring was never cursed, only stolen, and Miriam spoke then too, naming names, dates, graves, and the truth moved faster than the water, because truth does that once it's freed, and the preacher tried to speak, but his words fell flat, and the townspeople looked at their hands, at their children, at the dry earth beyond their fences, and something shifted, not cleanly, not all at once, but enough, because by morning the dynamite lay unused, the fence order was withdrawn, and the spring ran shared for the first time in a generation, and Ash Hollow learned that forbidden was just a word men used when they were afraid to give something back, and Ellie lost friends, lost business, lost sleep, but gained something steadier, a town that would never be the same in age, conscience that finally was, and Miriam returned to her people with water and with proof that not every rule deserved obedience. And if this story of courage, accountability, and the cost of doing what's right moved you, subscribe to the channel for more powerful Wild West stories where one choice changes everything.